Rajdeep, for someone who's attended 2 of the meetings of the India Alliance, I'm sure you're going to go in for the 3rd as well. The first one, there was an issue because Arvind Kejriwal walked out right before that press conference because he wanted the Congress on board. The Congress came on board right before the second meeting, and Arvind Kejriwal decided to go. Now, I just want to ask you, for somebody who's a political analyst, how confusing is this signal? Where you're going to criticize the Congress, say it's weak, it's not delivered in governance, and yet you're going to ally with the Congress just 3 months from elections in states to a national election.
Preeti, I think what has happened over the weekend reveals some of the limitations of this emerging India alliance. Because for all the talk of forging a national alliance against the BJP, there are state level differences. We've seen it play out in the last couple of weeks in Delhi between the AAP and the Congress. We've seen it play out in Bengal between the left and the Trinamool Congress. We've seen it play out in Kerala between the left and the Congress, and now we are seeing it playing out in Chhattisgarh between AAP and the Congress. The problem is that this alliance hasn't still worked out how they intend over the next 10 months to work together. They've evinced the intent, but beyond the intent, you've got to start having meetings at the, not just once in a month in a summit in a 5-star hotel. You're going to have those private conversations that are extremely important. There has been apparently attempts made by Mr. Kejriwal to reach out to the Congress leadership, to reach out to Mallikarjun Kharge, to reach out to Rahul Gandhi, but it's been a case of no clear response from the other side. Yes, they did work together in Parliament during the monsoon session, but when it comes to actually electioneering, there is no common strategy that's been forged. So Arvind Kejriwal seems to believe that he also has every right to expand into states like Chhattisgarh, where interestingly, remember, large tribal population. Mr. Kejriwal did well in Gujarat in the tribal areas. His reports, his poll surveys apparently show he's getting traction there. He's focusing on particular areas of Madhya Pradesh like Gwalior. So, tali do haath se bachti hai. I think both sides are going to have to decide, are you only going to sit in an India alliance once every month, or are you actually going to work for a common strategy for state elections? Do state elections matter to this India alliance, or are you only looking at the national elections with one aim to defeat Narendra Modi? And that strategy has not been worked out.
Akshay Marathe, especially if it comes down to a close contest, what that incremental vote of even a 3% in a Chhattisgarh could lead, or Madhya Pradesh could lead for the Congress to lose. But having said that, 2 options, Akshay Marathe. One, you can stick to what is your official line, I'm sure, that is that there is no alliance when it comes to state elections. Where Lok Sabha is concerned, you're together. Or is this all just pressure tactics, arm twisting before the 31st meet by the end of this month, that at least the Congress and India plays ball when it comes to seat sharing in states like Punjab, because you want the upper hand there? And maybe you pull out after that from these states.
No, since you have asked me for a line that is different from my party line, let me take a step back and try to answer honestly. Look, the Aam Aadmi Party has been around for the last 10 years, and in these 10 years, we have expanded organically across the country. So in these 3 states that are going into elections, whether it is Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, or Madhya Pradesh, we have a strong local unit that is prepared to fight elections. We have a Arvind Kejriwal model of governance which says that education, health, water, power can be provided free of cost to people, and all that can be done without corruption and without going into debt. So this model of governance is being taken around to these 3 states by our organization, and we have found that there is an organic demand for this model. So as a political party, it is our right to present that model to the people, and ultimately it is up to the people to decide whether they want to vote for Aam Aadmi Party, BJP, or Congress. To say that because Aam Aadmi Party is
moral turpitude then as a political party, especially a party like yours, comes into question, because at one end you are criticizing the Congress, saying that they are corrupt, they haven't delivered in these 2 states, and yet when it comes down to the national elections, you're not fighting them.
No, look, we have to understand that people of India are intelligent enough to see the difference between a state election and a national election. In a state election, the issues are very different. Like I said, the issues that Aam Aadmi Party is fighting on are very limited to education, health, power, water, which are very clearly state issues. But when it comes to the national election, we are fighting on a very broad platform of saving the constitution, saving our democracy, because these issues are genuinely important when it comes to the national
Okay.
perspective. The BJP in the center is detrimental to India's democracy, and that is what the Aam Aadmi Party very strongly is saying.
All right, so
So
which
when it
feeds
comes
into
to
the
the
larger
state
narrative
elections,
that the
we are the
BJP
right
is trying to
side.
say that at a national level, and I want to bring in Rashid Kidwai and Shehzad into this conversation, that the alliance of India really has no other narrative but an anti-BJP, anti-Modi narrative. Having said that, Rashid Kidwai, what's really going on in the Congress camp right ahead of the third meeting? Because it does seem that the Aam Aadmi Party has turned out to be a massive headache for the Congress.
Thank you, Preeti. Preeti, it is not for any reason that politics is described as the art of the possible. There are, of course, contradictions in all political parties, and political parties do manage. Mr. Rajiv Sardesai's country cousin V.N. Gadkil used to say about Atal Bihari Vajpayee that Mr. Vajpayee ran that NDA at that point of time with three human bombs: Mamta, Samta, and Jayalalitha. And he did it in a very nice manner. The governments did last. So what I'm saying is that there are always contradictions, and politicians are able to manage those contradictions. Remember, Preeti, India alliance is not for states. Just as the Congress in CWC was within its rights to induct Alka Lamba and Ajay Makan, both deadly opposed to Aam Aadmi Party, just as Aam Aadmi Party is entitled to have its view. So I think these contradictions will continue, and they're not going to affect the spirit of India alliance. Ultimately, the alliance would be there in place, including in Delhi, in Punjab, perhaps in Gujarat also, between Congress and Aam Aadmi Party. Remember, there are 46 seats, and if Congress doesn't align with Aam Aadmi Party, they may draw a blank. And if they have alliance with this in these three out of the 46 states, 46 seats, they have a chance to get 10, 15 seats combined with Aam Aadmi Party. So this is the arithmetic. And remember, Preeti, there is a very strong bond between Mr. Sanjay Singh and Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge in Rajya Sabha, and that bond is going to tide over all this kind of this verbal duel, etc.
Well, we don't know, but let's just see. Mr. Kidwai, I'll take the liberty to say, Atal Bihari Vajpayee might have said it very tactfully where he spoke of the three women leaders as human bombs of sorts, but was a tad bit sexist at that time because there were a lot of other male political leaders who did the same. But having said that, Shehzad and Rajdeep, I'll bring you back into this conversation. Shehzad, there has to be an amount of worry in all of this. You have a by-election which is going on in Ghosi in Uttar Pradesh, where it's many would say a kaante ka takkar when it comes down to the Samajwadi Party and the BJP, because all other parties have sat down and seen this could possibly be the litmus test in terms of knowing if this alliance works. Going ahead, even if it is all against the BJP, all against Modi, it could spell trouble because at least they are very clear on their agenda.
Preeti, first of all, just because you do arithmetic calculation on paper doesn't mean that the chemistry on the ground changes with that. दल से दल मिलने से दिल से दिल कार्यकर्ताओं के और ज़मीन पर नहीं मिलते. SP BSP came together in 2019 election. What happened? Two young boys of Uttar Pradesh also came together. What happened? I am not saying this out of sense of arrogance. I am saying that even if, let's assume, Aam Aadmi Party and Delhi paper over Congress paper over all their differences, what is their vote share, even arithmetically speaking in Delhi? 40%. We are at 56% Lok Sabha elections I'm taking. Now come to the fact that what has happened. Amit Shah ji is vindicated completely. And Rajdeep will agree that Amit Shah ji had said on 7th or 8th August that look, as soon as the matlab is over, the friendship will be over. This is the first Rajnetik Nikah where the 3 talaq ka provision is there inbuilt. Inbuilt triple talaq provision. Friends with benefits. Imagine Alka Lamba and Pawan Kheda, who have abused with choicest of abuses to Delhi model and to Mr. Kejriwal. One has called it Mahatag, other has said there's no Delhi model, have been both promoted to CWC. Dinesh Gundurao came all the way from Bengaluru to say that the world-class health model doesn't exist. And this is not the unique thing only about Aam Aadmi Party and Congress Party. By the way, Trinamool Congress versus left on Jadavpur, Congress versus Trinamool on Jadavpur, Congress versus left in Kerala, Uttar Pradesh, Samajwadi Party goes and meets KCR, Rajdeep's good friend, who's saying, who's called B team of BJP by Rahul Gandhi. RLD did not vote for the Delhi Services Bill issue at all. You have seen that in Maharashtra, Rajdeep and my home state, Sharad Pawar ji has been given a no confidence motion by whom? Congress Party and Uddhav Sena. It's not right. I.N.D. It is I doubt.
All right,
and
okay.
doubt. deep
But
doubt. And
Shehzad,
every kadam par doubt hai, isliye inka alliance.
Shehzad, the uneasy alliance is something which the BJP is very attuned to. Let's just forget about Ajit Pawar and the likes. What happened really where the Meghalaya chief minister came into being? 2 days before you called him corrupt, you called him, you did, and then you went and tied up with him. The parallel alliances are uneasy on either side of the divide.
Just give me one statement on that.
Yeah, sure.
Has Conrad Sangma said anything against BJP?
Of course he did.
Right now. No, after the alliance has been built.
Okay.
And every day, पानी पी पी कर कोस रहे हैं ये लोग एक दूसरे को after the alliance has been built in Bengaluru.